During this Virtual McArt lesson, we are going to be creating these absolutely adorable looking scarecrows. Now, in order to bring these guys to life, what we're going to be using is pencil colors. I'm going to be using a white colored pencil to sketch with. You can use a normal drawing pencil if you would like to. I have a small amount of white acrylic paint and a little paintbrush for adding some highlights at the end. And I am also working onto a toned sheet of drawing paper. Now that basically means a piece of paper of any color other than white. You can work onto white paper if you would like to. I've selected a nice fall looking color for mine. You can do whatever color you want for yours. Now, to create our adorable looking scarecrows, what we're going to do is start with a very basic sketch. I'm using my white colored pencil for this. You can use a normal pencil. This is going to show up more for you guys. So what I'm going to do, pretty close to the top of my page, but not all the way to the top, I'm going to start with a circle. Not too big. Simple circle right there. Now under this circle, I'm going to draw a line going straight down. Scarecrows are built onto wooden posts. So this is going to come all the way down to the ground. This is going to be the ground later on. So what I need to do now is dress my scarecrow up. My scarecrow is a floating head with no body. So I'm going to start to add features to my scarecrow. So I'm going to add a hat to begin with. You can build your scarecrow up however you want. Following around the head here. That's my scarecrow's hat. Now, scarecrows, think of a sandbag stuffed full of straw. That's going to be my scarecrow's head. So here is the base of that with a little tie. I'll go back to the face later. Now my scarecrow's arms, I'm going to have one sticking out to the left and one sticking out to the right. So my scarecrow is going to be like on a post. So the arms stick out and then there's no hands. It's going to be just straw sticking out eventually. So same on the other side, just sticking straight out. Super scruffy. Don't worry about being neat. Now, this jacket's going to come into the middle here, like that, for a thinner waist. Let's do a line going across. Now I'm thinking about doing a girl scarecrow. So what I'm actually going to do is have my scarecrow wearing a skirt. So coming from the waist here, I'm going to have a little skirt that goes out to the sides. And maybe have a couple little ruffles going through. I like where this is going. My girl scarecrow. Now I've gone right to the bottom, so I'm going to actually make mine a little bit bigger. Take it down a tiny bit further there. This is the post that goes into the ground here, with some tall grass shooting up, which we'll add a little bit later on. That's it. That's all I need for my scarecrow. Now I can start bringing her to life because I've done a girl scarecrow. Take a moment and work on yours. What are you going to do to bring yours to life? Are you going to have a scary scarecrow? A friendly scarecrow? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Totally up to you. You can dress yours up however you want. Now, what I'm going to do is start with yellow. And I'm going to start getting the base of her face in, the hat, and the straw. So here I go, around the outside of the head, adding yellow. This is a really fun, wispy sketch. Do not get too carried away with all your details. Little hat here. The straw, this is a fun bit. I'm going to have straw scruffily sticking out where her arms are here. And coming out from where her head has been stuffed with straw. Mine's also going to have some straw hair. Whenever I introduce a new color, I am adding that color wherever it's going to be featured. She's going to have straw sticking out from her jacket as well. And a little bit from underneath the skirt. Let's get a little bit of yellow on the post. And then to show she's standing in a cornfield, I'm going to go ahead and add some scratchy yellow down here as well. Shooting up maybe some little kernels of wheat as well. Just for some fun texture, totally up to you. I'm just giving you some ideas right now. I'm very excited to see what you guys come up with. Okay, now the yellow doesn't stand out hugely well by itself, so I'm going to go back through with my white. I'm working on quite a dark surface for mine. So here we go. I'm going to start by lighting up the head. So circle motion. You see how that's blending into the yellow, giving me a nice bright surface there. Her head's lighting up like a light bulb now. Wonderful. There we go. And then for the straw, I'm going to go through, add a couple little white strokes. There we go. Wonderful. I'm going to add some orange and some brown as well to get it to stand out. A little bit down the post. I don't think about it too much. If you focus on just the tip of my pencil, it is very scribble, scrabble, scratchy. Don't overthink where you're throwing down these marks. We're going for a very, very rough illustrated look on this cute little scarecrow here. Down here. And perhaps a little bit of light going down the side of her hat. And another piece of corn off the top of it. Ooh, hat's a really good way of personalizing something. What kind of a hat could you do? Maybe it's not a hat at all. Maybe she's wearing a astronaut helmet. Totally up to you. Really excited to see what you guys come up with. Okay, so I'm going to add, let's see. I think I'm going to do a nice green top for her. So I'm going to add my light green first. Look at my green scribbling everywhere. This is not a neat piece of work. This is super fun, super rough, and I actually think the technique that I'm using adds to that whole scruffy scarecrow feel. You don't really see a scarecrow dressed in super neat clothes in the middle of a field. They're very scruffy. There we go. Light green first, and then the dark green to add a bit of shadow and texture. So underneath the arms, let's get a little bit on there. Down the sides. Again, I am not being neat at all. Let's do like a little line down the center, like it's a jacket. Don't know if it's going to have buttons or a zipper yet. I'm still thinking about that. What are you going to do with yours? What's your scarecrow wearing? There we go. Maybe your scarecrow's wearing a Halloween costume. Who knows? Take a minute to think about it. You could maybe even do a couple scarecrows standing in your field. And then a little bit of dark underneath the straw at the top. There we go. Lovely. Now, I've decided as I was doing this, a white polka dot skirt, white and red, would look pretty awesome. So I'm going to do that. So first of all, white polka dots. I'm making them bigger because it's easier to go around larger polka dots. Again, this is all coming from my imagination. Let's see what yours can do. Maybe a princess scarecrow. That would be interesting. Or a witch. Or a robot. Anything you could think of. But it is a scarecrow, so it's going to need to have straw sticking out of it here and there, no matter what you decide to do. If you're doing a robot and you've got very box-like features, you're still going to need to have a little bit of straw. And then I'm going to use this nice reddy orange shade I've got here. Same again, not being neat. Scribble scrabble, throwing down just a scratchy base coat. Lovely. All the way around the polka dots. Not even worried if I accidentally go on the polka dots. There we go. Gorgeous. And to lighten that up a little bit, I'm going to add some yellow over the top. So, not thinking about it too much. There we go. And some white for a couple highlights. Going up and down. With pencil color, the possibilities are endless. Just keep layering it up, one color on top of another. You'll get beautiful textures, you'll get really fun color combinations. You can always try it on a spare piece of paper first, but this girl is super quick and easy. I'm not too worried about it. Now I'm going back up to my scarecrow's head, and I'm going to do like a brown wicker hat. So building up some brown on top here. I think I'm going to do a ribbon around the hat, so I'm going to leave a little bit standing out there. And a little bit of brown around the outside of my scarecrow's face for kind of some shadow and make her look a little more rounded. There we go. Little creases. Again, every color I add, if it's needed anywhere else, I'm just going to go ahead and add it whilst I have that color in my hand. That way I'm not having to keep chopping and changing, and I'm making progress all over at the same time. So it's a real quick, fun little scarecrow we're doing. You're going to see her start to come to life really quickly now with the details. What's she missing? Her face. Yeah, we need to get a face on there. Okay, so for my scarecrow's nose, I'm thinking almost like a carrot almost. I know it's not a snowman, but just like a triangular orange shape. Your scarecrow's face can be made from, well, anything really. There we go. I'll come back to the eyes. I want to go through with a dark brown first. So up on the hat again. Oh, that's lovely. Really standing out. This is not black. This is a dark brown. Oh, this is fantastic for getting those details to stand out. Scruffy hair. Maybe some hair accessories, ladies, if you're doing a nice girly scarecrow. She could have something in her hair. And I'm going to create a little bit of definition going down the jacket here. Using the dark. Yeah, I think I am going to do buttons. Down one side. There we go. So shadow's going to be down low. On the underside of the arms. A little bit of dark sticking out. Going around the outside of the skirt, get that to stand out a bit more. And down the wooden post on the ground. Going to make it a little bit darker on one side. There we go, she's coming to life. Tiny bit of dark down in the corn on the ground. Or wheat, or whatever kind of a field she's standing in. There we go. Now I need some warm orange going through this straw. So starting up at the hair again. Oh, that's better. Just on the straw, I'm going to do this nice warm orange. Anywhere that you see the straw. Yeah, beautiful. And I'm pressing nice and hard to get it to really stand out. Now I'm going to use my darker red here and do a little dark strip going around her hat here. Wonderful. And a little bit of that dark red on her skirt as well. Her hat matches her skirt. She's a scruffy but ever so slightly coordinated scarecrow. Matching hat and skirt. Now I'm going to go back up with my dark brown and work on my scarecrow's face. I'm just going to do some little circular eyes with the middle kind of hollowed out. They could be buttons. And then I'm going to do like a wibbly smile. my pencil is not very sharp, so it's giving me a bit of a blunt line. Make sure yours is nice and sharp before you do yours. There we go. Actually going to go in with a little bit of black to make that stand out some more. And do some little stitches going across where she's been sewn together. I'm going to give my scarecrow some little pink cheeks as well. Little rosy pink cheeks. And then go down with the black. A little bit more fun detail sticking out. There we go. And I think I'm going to add a fun little daisy to her hat as well. So what I'm going to do is have, this is the white little petals sticking out the sides and a yellow middle. This is how easy it is for you to add on to your creation. It's simple. And then just a little green stem going to it. And maybe a couple little sprigs of grass coming out the top as well. Whoever put this scarecrow together wanted her to be pretty. There we go. Now my scarecrow is not super good at her job, so she's actually got a crow sitting on her shoulder. I'm going to do a little crow here. Just sitting on her shoulder. Having a chat. Because she's not a very good scarecrow. She's not very scary at all. So there is my crow. Again, I'm just doing the basic shape of the crow. Then with some orange feet and a little orange beak sticking out there as well. Now that's pretty much my scarecrow done. What you can do if you want to create a fun little bit of background on yours, I'm going to use a light blue here and I'm going to literally scribble. I'm going to scribble a little bit in the background to show that it's a nice bright blue sky. Now you don't need to do this if you don't want to. Again, this is just a really loose sketch. I'm showing that it's a bright blue sky behind. Really don't want a super high finish to this sketch. So I'm just laying down a loose amount of color. You can cross hatch a couple different shades of blue if you want, but be careful not to take it too dark if you are doing this. This is a nice bright scarecrow. If you take your background dark, we're going to end up making her look a little darker as well. And we want her colors to stand out nice and bright. There we go. And there we go, that is my little scarecrow done. Now if you want to, you can use a tiny amount of acrylic paint like I have here and a small paintbrush and add a couple of dazzling highlights over the top. So if you want to add like a little bit of a sparkle in her eye, now is a good time to do it. A little highlight down the side of her nose. If you've made her hat super dark, you can add just a couple little dabbles of white down there to lift it. Any areas you want to add just a little glimmer of light. Totally up to you. I'm going to add a few little white speckles on her jacket here. And this is an optional step, just to dazzle a little bit. I do love to add some highlights just to get the light bouncing off of the top. Adds another layer of depth. I'm working in a very hot room, so mine's drying up quickly. Want a little dazzle on each button. There we go, you can see there what a difference that makes. Perhaps you didn't add polka dots to yours and you want to. Right now is a great time to use your paint to add some spots. we go. She is done, standing in the field, being not a very good scarecrow with a crow sitting on her shoulder. Now, she was super quick to create really fun, really relaxed texture with the pencil colors. You can see the scribble, scrabble, scratchy strokes in the background as well as all over the rest of her. Now you have these awesome skills down. Have a go at coming up with your very own super adorable little scarecrow standing in a field. Remember guys, no matter what you decide to do, the most important thing is that you have fun.